Hi everyone, Florida here, and of course, always with my partner Mio.
Hey, I am here today, and so is Florida, and we are here with the week one and week two power rankings of the Petit Conference. Yep.
Yep, and definitely have been a lot of shifts since the post draft, and we're just gonna cover them here. I guess we're just gonna get hop right in with our number 10, and both of us have the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, they're not doing that hot. I don't think they're putting a lot of effort in. Honestly, I like the team, but Fog and the Avalanche they're not really keeping up. Both their
Uh,
games were pretty bad records too, I believe. Right?
I do. Hold on. We should really have the fixtures out in front of
Yeah,
us. Give
yeah,
me a
he has
second.
-10 differential at the moment, which
Yeah, he's definitely not showing that he's having that much skill in his week two matches. He made a bunch of misplays. He ran scarf, which didn't make that much sense. He doesn't seem to be again playing living up to that potential. And he's paying for it.
Well, to be fair, one of his uh, losses was against one of our top, and I
One of our
believe that,
top three, yeah.
and the second one, week two, was against a different top team, right? No,
I
no, no,
think
no, no.
he's
He
had
was against a different top team. He had two
yeah
losses against
no
two top teams, but
yeah he hasn't fared well against his two opponents overall. So yeah, that's all. I guess that's all we can really say.
yeah, I
Uh,
mean
but
still pretty early for
it's
still pretty early in the season, I'd say. So he can bounce back. But as of now, I'm pretty solid that he's ranked 10.
yeah. So moving on to number 9, I think we both have the here we go Highland Houndooms. Um, I will say, looking back over his week two match, he did have a bad matchup. Uh, and it's kind he I have I don't
Look,
think he brought the
yeah,
right. Okay,
I
yeah.
don't think he did at all.
I,
I think that getting impact on Porygon Z was actually kind of cool, but it just could not break the chance anyway.
yeah. I think he honestly should have switched out after he missed that. He actually missed a Giga Impact before going for a second one, which or no, it was a Trick Room. I think eventually happened, but I don't know what happened there. But I think if he missed the first Giga Impact, he really should have just switched out because the Porygon Z honestly could not touch that Chansey in any way, shape, or form. I also kind of think he should have probably brought. I have this idea that he could have probably brought Ditto, because against his opposing team. Who was it?
That would be
It
Jar,
was
Jar and the Toronto Star Raptors. Yep,
yeah, the
big team.
Toronto Star Raptors. The team that they brought, actually, if he had brought a Ditto, a Choice Scarf Ditto, I honestly think Kieran could have counter sweeped most of that team. So definitely not the best prep either. There was certain things like a couple. I think he misplayed the Alone Sand Slash a little bit. Uh, and yeah,
Yeah,
so that's all I really can
yeah. What I
say.
want to say about that Sand Slash is what I said at the post draft, that it is kind of biting him in the butt that his only Steel type. Honestly, just it's
Yeah,
not good at being a Steel type.
it's not, and
The team overall
yeah,
just looks, honestly, it looks really kind of weak. Like Rodom, like at least what he brought to week two anyway. It's like Mudsdale, Rodom, Alola Slash doesn't really speak any much to me.
yeah. Rotom really just did not hit as hard, and from personal use of Rotom, it's been like you expect it to hit hard, but like it really does not, especially when you remove the choice specs from the equation, which he did with that trick. Uh, but yeah, it was overall his team just seems little weird. He hasn't really been able to bring all of his threats due to team matchup, but he really needs to start bringing those higher tier mons and leave a couple of the lower tiers alone. So yeah, that's all I can really say about the
Y-
Highland
Yep,
Houndoons.
don't have much else myself.
All right, so okay, here's where we have a first major difference. You have the Seattle Scissors
You have the
well,
Seattle Fizzers, and I have the Melbourne Victory Star myself, actually.
all right, so we'll talk about the Caesars first, I guess. Um, from what I saw this week, he kind of had bad prep. From I saw the team video. He said that he only like I think worked on like two of his mons, which I think was like the Lando and the Hydreigon. Um, and like there was a lot of he was switching around a lot and like was good having good momentum with the switches, but there was a lot of misplays, honestly. Like for instance, he was in the middle of a war. I think it was like with the Magirna, but he was let Toxapex get worn down, but then he proceeded to sack off his Azelf, which is at a decent amount of health. And I don't know how much it would have changed, but honestly, I think you should have just sacked off the Toxapex at that point, especially because it had a shift gear up and was like gonna sweep through your team and get a clean. He should have just waited for a clean switch into another mon, but overall is just he just got counter. He just got swept by unprepped for Magirna, I guess, and yeah, that's all I can really say.
Yep. That was the Caesars, yes.
Yeah,
Click on that, and yeah, actually, I like the Caesars overall, but
yeah,
they just they just haven't like they have the threats, but they just this match just really didn't do much. Like he kept it really close against Jar in his week one. Like that was a good match.
yep,
I would really like to say, but this is the week two. This really doesn't. This brings it down to me. For me,
yeah.
it was
That's what
hard.
I kind of
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it, but like I don't have it much. I don't have it much higher, but I don't think he quite deserves 8. I don't know, just
yeah.
like the jar match really brought it back for me overall.
6, 7, 8 is another is
6, 7, 8's
uh
hard actually, really
yeah,
hard.
6, 7, 8. They were kind of all over the place. Let's continue, I guess. Yeah,
Okay, so number 7 on your end is the
the Miami Heat trend. Now,
right. That's what I was thinking of.
the re I well actually no, the reason I ranked it a little bit lower than you did is because they're showing. We talked about this so much in post draft, and I actually ranked them high, and then I noticed this. My gosh, toxic spikes really ruin its team. Hazards have been like his week 2 match. He had a sizable lead, but he kept on switching around his mons, and they kept getting worn down by both toxic spikes and stealth rock, and just set up for a Jirachi sweep. And that was just he really needs to pick up, if not a rapid spinner, he needs to pick up at least a poison type or something to absorb those stealth rocks because he is not dealing well with those. Uh, but
Yeah,
yeah,
and
that's
yeah.
you go. Yeah, it's your.
And I think in week one, actually, he had this impressive comeback with the Mega
Oh,
Caesar. If you
I'm
still,
sorry. I was. This was kind of weak too. Yeah, he did have an extremely good comeback with the Mega Caesar. Uh, because perfect swords dance.
it
Though
was
I will
just the
point
right
out it
setup
was
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I will point out it was a tad bit. I honestly think it was a little bit of a misplay on his opponent's part because the Mian Shao could have easily had clicked fake out then high jump kick,
Well, we
and
don't know
he
if it had it. Did it have it?
I don't know, but over that was like either bad prep on the other team's part or I actually don't know the set. So, but overall, I kind of did drop the Miami Heat Tran because of this past week because I didn't feel I feel like they do have a massive roster weakness. They did play well. I will say that. Like they are not a horrible team by any means, but they do have a slight weakness that they kind of have to deal with.
Yeah, like he knows how to keep his like I know he's got that spikes weakness such like the T spikes, but he knows how to keep his momentum. He kept Eric on his toes in the early game of week two
Yep.
for sure. So I think if he can patch up that weakness, he'll be a way stronger contender than he already is.
Yeah. That's definitely an agreement. Uh so yeah, let's move on to my number 6 and your number 8.
Yep.
The Melbourne Victory Star. They play well. We actually you go.
Melbourne Victory Star. That's I do believe that is the team. Yeah, it's just that team. It's electric. It's Jack or
I think so.
yeah, and he had a couple.
Tapu
Pretty,
Koko.
yeah. You got the Coco, Miancho, Greninja, Bikini, Decidueye, that guy.
Yeah.
I like his team. Oh, I think I like his team, kinda. But I don't know, after a couple not very hot losses, like first against Zappy, and then against this loss against Jose, just like
I will
even
point
with that that Greninja was really impressive week two.
the Greninja Z Happy Hour props. That's kind of why I put him a little bit higher because yeah, Z Happy Hour. That was perfect.
It was good prep, but Jose was still able to get around it. So
Yeah.
I mean, it did work, but I don't know if the setup for it was quite right. And just as well,
Y-
if he got counter swept in week one. But so overall, he's not doing awful, but he's just getting played on after a bit. So both of his losses have been a narrow 1-0. So I could definitely see him a little bit higher than this, especially in the future. But for now, I think I'm fine with him at number 8.
yeah. I have him at number 6. He's been playing well. He knows how to play well. He's kind of kept it close, but I mentioned this before. Like, I don't exactly remember what play it was week 1, but I definitely knew play. I definitely know week 2 he messed up. No, he's either not run fake out or not clicked it twice, and I think both times it has cost him either a win or a massive kill. Because I don't exactly remember which exact plays they were, but I definitely knew week 1. Yeah, but just I like his team. He knows how to prep. Uh, though I will say he kind of brought an offensive Mega Audino and a Coco. I honestly think Mega Audino should be kind of run a little bit more bulkier, kind of more of a support mon. But uh, yeah, that's honestly all I have really for the Melbourne Victory Star. It's just not a bad team. It's just he's got to find a way to get on the other side of the close matches.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think definitely he'll do better, and be either about this or better in the future. So yeah,
Yeah. All right. So both okay. So now we're done with that block of disagreement, and we're moving on to number 5. With the Toronto Staraptors, we both have them at number 5. Uh, he's been playing. I feel like he has been playing a little bit of a safer game. He is 1-1, correct? I think
yeah, he
so. Yeah.
is.
He had a close game against the Scissors week 1, and then he like completely destroyed the Highland Houndoums week 2. He's been performing well. He has good predictions, though. I do feel like a couple of his games did play a little bit into his hands, but the 5-0 definitely has a really good amount of skill. Uh, and he's definitely showing. I kind of did rank him a little bit lower than I should have in the post draft rankings. But yeah, he's been performing well, and I'm fine with him in my top 5.
Oh
And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, definitely. Like even after that first week loss,
what?
Like
which was actually a really close
that was a
loss.
really close game, and it could have actually gone either way if there had been a couple other factors that were different. But his week 2, sorry, just shows a lot of skill in and how he plays and how he can preserve. He could have preserved the 6-0, but he didn't. So that alone, like that skill to preserve, to be able to have a 6-0 in your hand, shows that he knows what he's doing and that he has the potential for the future to keep up with this really strong team too. Like Celesteela is one of the best new mons in general. And then he has Kyron Black and Mega Beedrill, and he is actually making proper use of Chansey, which you don't see a lot, actually.
Yep.
So I don't know, I'm just really impressed, actually.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't really have much bad to say because
Uh,
there's really not much bad I can say about the week 1 game. But
me
he
neither.
that's he, like he preserved what he had to preserve, and so did his opponent. Like it was just a close, normal game. I like to say.
Yeah, in week 2 he had good predictions. He brought a really good thing. He brought Roost on Cura, and that definitely helped him deal with the Tapu Fini because he knew Tapu Fini could not OHKO him. So he was able to roost up the damage and was able to remove that massive threat on the other side. He made a couple of good switches. And yeah, and he set it up so Mega Beedrill just completely cleaned up the rest of the game. So yeah, he's been playing fine, and maybe in future weeks, if his this trend of him improving his differential continues, he might be set to do really well this season.
Yep, I agree.
All right, another agreement by us. We're moving on to number 4, and that is the Celesilio. After week 1, hold on, let me get a refresher here. All right. So after week 1, he kind of it was not a bad showing in week 1, but he did eventually lose to Seattle Onyx, and I did rank him a little bit lower because I didn't see him doing that well. But then this past week, he has definitely shown it's another 5-0. It's like one team will do bad in week 1 and then come back in week 2. That's happened twice in a row now. But Celcio definitely came back in a big way, picking up that 5-0 against the Scissors. He had good doubles at the beginning of his week 2 match, and the game played into his hands, and he got himself set up with a really good Magirna sweep. So he's definitely showing a lot more skill, and definitely has been picking up a lot more momentum as the season goes on.
Oh yeah, like I love not only do I love his team, of course. I mean, I love Shaman and Magirna and Latios and such,
Yep.
but he just using them just right too. He's putting out what he needs to put out. Like he's got this Magirna was able to just ultimately, even with a bit of um, para hacks, he was able to break through his talk specs. The Even with the Z fairy move on the Landorus, just to be able to clean out the game entirely is good use of the Mon. Over.
Yeah, especially because with Magirna with Soul Heart, you really want to force the opponent to have to sack a couple mons because you get automatic special attack boost that way. So having shift gear definitely helped that out. Even if he didn't need the attack boost, it's just he basically won the game basically at that point because it forced his opponent to sack off a mon, and once you do that, Magirna becomes basically unstoppable. So yeah, definite good use of the mons, and yeah, he's definitely improving compared to his week 1 match. So yeah.
So I do believe next up we got another disagreement, don't we?
Okay, so first off, big note: the top 3. Honestly, in my personal opinion, all of these 3 really did deserve like to be all number 1 because like they are real. They all 3 are like really good battlers, and oh man, yeah. So that's probably why we have a massive amount of disagreement here because I could have honestly put these 3 in any order.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just,
I am me
oh my
too.
gosh.
Yeah, I think I feel pretty confident on how I did put them though, but yours are actually pretty fine too. So you have the Seattle Seadras, so want to talk about
I
them
have the
first?
Seattle Seadras at number 3. Um, he his as he well, Seadras was our number 1 post draft, and the Seattle Seadras have been showing they're capable of using that bulk. Uh, and they definitely know how to use bulky offense, and that's how they've been able to pick up their wins. And this past week 2, they knew how to, when they needed to cripple the Victini. They had good pivoting because they knew about what is it? It's Spirit Shackle from the Sidgewai that he had plenty of pivot moves ready for that. He was able to deal with the Z Happy Hour, as we mentioned earlier, by able to switch in and out of all of his mons. And yeah, he is really good at making plays to put the game into his hands. And as we said during the post draft, he has a perfect amount of bulk, perfect amount of offense, and he's just been doing so well this season.
Yeah, like week one, he was able to like get that DD set up on Foghorn and be able to just win with that, which was super solid. Like he knew when to set right when to set up, right when he could with that Megaladios. And then week two, he had this. I believe it was a no, it was not but it was a good use of the Jolteon. And I do believe he actually won a speed tie for that for the last move of the game. Like
I'm
Coco and Jolteon was a speed tie.
I believe so as well.
So either way, still how the game came down to that was really like he was able to get the game down to a 50-50 after he was surprised by this Greninja. Was I don't know, shows how he knows how to come back from a game and how to win a game.
Yep. I
Like
will
he,
point out, yes, that was a speed tie at the end there.
mhm.
That kind of was a little bit of a 50-50. I just realized I probably should have taken that into account, but
Me is too actually. So, but like he knows how to play his, he knows how to preserve his win cons, knows how to play the end game. I just really like how he plays. That's why I put him at number one. Actually,
yeah. And that's all I can. That's all I can really say about Seattle Seadras. Moving on to number 2, and that is the Seattle. Well, both of us agree on
yep,
this one.
both of us
So
called it.
number 2 is, I don't know why I have the Seattle Caesar. Okay, I have the Seattle Onyx. Well, he kind of definitely proved us wrong here.
Oh yeah,
We we I think, what was it? I put him at number 9, and you put him at number 8.
yeah.
Because we were criticizing that he was like overly a sand team, and he is. Oh my
He has
gosh, no,
proved that,
he
that
is
he
not.
is not sand.
He does not have to run sand every week to win games. He brings a perfect amount of bulk, perfect amount of offense. I really loved his bulky Vikavolt that he used week 2, able to stall out the Garchomp. Though I will point out the Garchomp probably should have been running Rock Slide, but nevertheless, it was a perfect set, able to bulk out most of the hits. Um, he knows how to build around the threats. That's another reason he kind of won, because he knew to set up Toxic Spikes and Stealth Rocks against the Miami Heatran because of no defogger. And it just he has been showing constantly that he knows how to use his team. Even if the team feels weird to us, he knows how to use those mons like almost perfectly. And
Yeah,
that's like, oh my gosh.
I'm really starting to see this potential with the Rachi and the Bulu. Just how they've worked in both games to his favor. Like Bulu being able to break the stuff that Jirachi has trouble with normally, and Jirachi being able to win in the end, as we see in week two. And then week one, we saw his good use of the Zygarde, which cleaned up the Chelselio. Great.
Hmm.
I just, I really don't see a lot wrong. He knows how to keep his game and knows how to take back a game.
Yeah, he does. All right. I think I mean, like, I kind of overpraise it, so I think that's really all I have for the Seattle Scissors, in all honesty.
Onyx.
So,
Oh, it's fine.
my notes, I actually wrote down Scissors.
That's good.
So, Moving on to number one. You have the Seattle Sieges, which we've already talked about, but
Yep.
I have the Rhine Valley Guards, who you have number three. Um, the reason I put the Rhine Valley Guards at number one is because I see their play and they know how to use their team extremely well. Um, and also they pick off. They do somehow find a way. Well, no, okay, so in his week two match, he was really good using the muck. Uh, the Mesprit was almost a perfect set. He was able to hit most of the Mons on the opposing team. He kind of knew what was coming. He had time to get a Dragon Dad sweep moving on, and he knew how to switch around all of his Mons. And he's just been showing he has a really good amount of skill. And it's just I'm enjoying his play. I know his first week was a little bit of a closer game, and
Yeah,
I probably should have taken that into account when ranking it because I just realized the seed. Yeah, but it was like the seed. It just it was. He's a really good player, and he's definitely showing he knows how to use his mons
yeah.
really well.
Like it couldn't like the week one really could have come for a loss for Rice Pool if he if that start after on his opponent's side was faster because it is naturally faster than Mesper and for some reason it did not outspeed. But and like he had this good Sceptile setup, but he set it up while the Chestnut could still wall it. So
Yep.
I don't know, like optim- like
Oh
I
yeah, I
know he
forgot.
brought up that he almost bought acrobatics on the Sceptile, but I think just keeping your sets optimized is
Yeah.
something you should do a little bit more, like
I
the
mean,
such
because
the
I think acrobat. Yeah, because I remember seeing this acrobat. He should have probably run acrobatics, but considering his opponent's team, which I need to remember what was his opponent. It
yeah,
was
it was basically just for the chestnut, but Xerza just couldn't break it. The chestnut even at plus one plus three, or was it? I don't know if it was.
it was +2 because it was lychee berry and then it swords danced.
It
So
was
it was
it was
plus
plus
two.
three. It's plus three, I think. So it's
Oh,
it's-
+3.
yeah, it's plus three, I believe. So this the plus three Xerza didn't even do anything to that chestnut except
But
that. Yeah.
nonetheless, I still think he has had a lot of skill.
Oh yeah, he
And
definitely does.
again, this top three was really hard to decide. So he's a good player, and I can't wait to see what he does in the upcoming weeks.
Like
Uh,
putting him even at number three was really hard for me over anyone else, just because as we said, all three should basically deserve number one. And as we've noted, uh, if we average out our top three, they all average out to two, which is pretty notable because they are basically about tied in my eyes.
yep.
So
So I think that is all we really have to say. So yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
see ya.